What's up, AfterBuzzers? You are watching the After Show for The Family, Season 1, Episode 6, Nowhere Man. Stay tuned to see us break down all the craziness.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Family After Show. Sorry, that's the only reaction I can even have for tonight because
so crazy.
We are all just so hype. I don't even know the feeling to describe that's in my heart right now because of how crazy this episode was.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was nuts. I'm your host, April Whisenhant. As always, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, basically everywhere at April Whisenhant. Where can they find y'all?
Hi, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
Awesome, and I'm Nadine Della Pelle, and you can find me at Nadine DP and the number 3.
As always, you can find us all at AfterBuzz TV. Don't forget to download on iTunes, subscribe, and comment. We want to know what you have to think. Abby has the live chat up, so be sure to chat with her. We want to hear what you thought and your predictions, as well as feel free to tweet us anytime, of course. So, holy crap, what did y'all think?
It was, we were talking about this. This is our favorite episode.
Yeah, definitely my favorite episode. It was so good. The entire episode was great.
Yeah, and it was just... you just never know what's going to happen. And I feel like some of our predictions are starting to come true, but in new way, and like just only parts of our predictions.
Yeah,
we can't fully predict anything. You know?
And some things that we thought were proven wrong.
Yeah.
Like, we were so wrong. Well, I was.
Yeah.
I was wrong on a couple things.
We were pretty right on some things.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about this part later, but Adam is not Adam, and we all guessed that Adam wasn't Adam.
Yeah. Episode 1, we knew Adam wasn't Adam.
Exactly.
Like, creepy man.
When he's like, I want cupcakes, or whatever he was saying in that video.
Yeah.
So, but tonight it's like, definitely not Adam.
Yeah.
So, I don't even know.
People
it was
are already
crazy.
commenting on the chat.
Oh, good.
Like, what?
Yeah,
I know.
It's crazy, guys.
We got a lot of answers tonight, but then we also, now we have a lot more questions that will hopefully be answered in the coming episodes. But I want to start off talking about kind of not a random part in the storyline, but our boy Hank is okay.
Yes, Hank.
So last week we see him go to this cake place and eat an entire cake, which props to you.
Yeah, that's impressive.
If you can do that.
Really
So
impressive.
much sugar.
And I know. And the lady that sold him the cake, or that worked at the bakery anyway, shows up at his house. First of all, how does she have his address?
And it's just weird because I just did not see that coming. I did not think she was going to be relevant at all.
No.
Besides selling him the cake.
I mean, that's a great question of how does she have his address? Like, because at the end of their weird scene, he's like, Google me. Like, Google me.
Right.
It's like, didn't she Google you to find out, where you live or, something like that, you know?
Exactly.
And where has she been when he's been on the news, and is she new to town?
Maybe she doesn't watch TV.
Maybe she's just out of the loop.
Who knows? That's kind of the magic of television, I guess, the two of them getting together. But so she shows up at his house and says that she's there to give him a rewards card, but then quickly kind of gets into that she wants to ask him on a date, which I thought was so awkward because she's like, how do you eat alone? And he was not getting it. He's like, oh, well, just bring a book and you'll be fine.
I mean, it was pretty random that they included this whole thing. I guess they had a reason for it.
Yeah, they
which
did
we
it
find
for
out.
a
But
purpose.
at first, in the beginning of the episode, I think we were all kind of like, why is this happening?
I thought that it was some sick fetish she had, or that she knew who he was and decided to show up, and she saw him at the bakery and was like, I recognize him.
Yeah.
I'm kind of,
Into this.
These child molester men. I don't know, something weird like that. And I was very happy it didn't go that way.
I
But she
wonder
just
what
really
that
liked
fetish
him.
was called.
I mean, the girl's a freak.
Yeah.
We see, clearly.
I actually had the same thought whenever they were on the couch hooking up. I was like, oh, I bet she knows who he is because she just went for it so fast.
Yeah.
But so we see Hank kind of contemplating whether he wants to go on this date or not. He glances at her number on the fridge, and then they decide to. And then we see some of the most awkward date conversation that I've ever heard. I mean, actually,
so weird.
My dates are probably pretty similar to that. I'm not gonna lie. But
If someone was recording you in playback, it would be a Hank date.
what did he say? I forget what he asked her, but something.
Also,
I don't
what
know.
was with the foil swan? Did you guys notice that?
I see that in movies a lot. It's where like people get duck or something like that, or they get some kind of meat that they have to put in it, so they make it pretty. I don't know.
I was confused.
Never happened to me in real life, but
No.
I don't order.
No, I've never seen that.
I don't know if that actually happens, but I kind
In
of.
movie TV, it does, yeah. So
Yeah,
in
I
that
kinda wanna
world-
know that, I guess.
In that world, it does. But,
Yeah.
I mean, the sex scene, though, between them, or that makeout scene, it was... I looked at you guys and I was like, can we fast forward? Like,
Yeah.
I physically can't watch
And
it. But I mean,
Homegirl was aggressive.
but also, like, okay, Hank, props to you getting some action, I guess,
Right.
you know, but... it's a little weird.
I was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, kind of a little bit happy to see Hank, like, oh, maybe he's moving on with his life.
Yeah.
And I asked y'all this while we were watching, but I kind of assumed that Hank was gay, which not
Same.
that just because, I mean, obviously just because he was a child molester doesn't necessarily mean that, but maybe that, so I guess it was wrong of me to assume. But so that's why I thought whenever he was saying no, I thought it was because like, oh, he wasn't enjoying this or whatever. But because she was fully, you know, like unbuttoning his shirt, and then she
She had Hank fever. Like, it was crazy.
She was a freak. She
Yeah.
really just went right in.
I mean,
she had no reservations.
Girl knows what she wants, and it was Hank, and she was trying to get that.
more
so.
power to her, I guess. But it was just, I was surprised that he even invited her to his house after that awkward conversation. But you know, I guess
It's like
little
he was
dinner and a movie.
trying to want to like be with her and like her.
Yeah.
He was trying, but he just couldn't. It's just
Right.
not him.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know how the mood got going after that movie was on that they were watching, like in the
Yeah.
dark, black and white. Like it was like, all right, this is a Hank date for
The whole
sure.
thing was very strange.
Anyway,
But she likes it. But
Okay, this is a good point. So someone just said, but is Hank a pedophile? Because I don't think they ever established that he was a child molester. They just said
Sex
indecent. They said
offender.
indecent exposure. So that's
Right.
why he's a sex offender. So we don't really know the incident yet.
But he did something. I thought we knew that it involved.
They said
child of some
I'm
sort.
pretty sure they only said that it was something around like a park, like indecent exposure. So he could have just
Right.
been using the bath. I mean, obviously we assume that he has some weird thing with kids because of
But then
Adam.
they found the stuff on his computer too.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Nina found
Yeah.
the like child.
Yes,
He may
that's
not
true.
have
But he
physically
may have
done
done
anything,
anything
but
to a
his-
kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. All
Yeah.
right, that's
Okay.
valid.
Yeah,
No,
because
okay,
someone just
valid.
said technically, I think Hank flashed some people.
Okay.
Not that I'm trying to defend him. That's
Right.
what she
No,
said.
no, but yeah, let's get straight.
True,
with
yeah,
what
we want to
he's
know.
done.
Yeah, that's true.
So
we
he
don't know
flashed-
exactly what he did.
But okay, so
But we know he's into kids.
So we know he's into kids because they saw the child porn or whatever it was
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
his computer. But now we definitely know because so this chick is, I forgot her name. I don't know if they ever told us her name. But so she like tries to or starts to go down on Hank, and he is not having it. I thought he was about to like beat her up for a second.
I thought he was about to cry.
He pushed her off
Well,
and was like,
he
"Stop,
did
stop."
say no twice, and
He said
she
stop.
didn't. You're stop.
No means
Like, girl.
no.
Yeah, right? Exactly. So, I mean,
Girl.
she deserves to get a little push. Like, if
Yeah.
I'm saying no, I'm going to punch. So,
yeah.
at least she just got to push.
Very true, very true. But I like I said earlier, I thought it was just because he was like grossed out or not or whatever by her. But we see kind of more toward the end of the episode, he goes to the doctor and he talks about this. He's like, I haven't had any urges in 10 years, which is weird because that's when Adam was also. Oh, because that's
When he
when
was
he
in
was
jail.
arrested.
Yeah,
Right.
he was in
But he
jail.
says he did this study in jail that we have to assume is some sort of study for sex offenders or people who like children, whatever, and they inject something into you that makes you a eunuch for all intents and purposes, which basically means like you can't. Well, you know what that means.
Yeah.
If you don't Google it.
Can't really have sex.
No,
So we'll say
exactly.
that.
Yeah.
And he's been doing this to himself even after, I don't know kind of what the timeline is at this point, maybe a few months, but he's been continuing to do it to himself since then so that he doesn't
Have these urges.
have these urges or do anything, which I mean,
Good.
it's good.
I think.
It's definitely good because, I mean, at least he isn't doing that, but it's also kind of like, whoa, you have to do this to make yourself not have these urges, which,
But-
I mean, I guess we can't, unless you have that brain, you can't understand that
Yeah,
brain.
and I guess
so.
it's good he's taking that action because it's to people they don't understand that someone would have to do that to prevent these weird messed up urges.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
at the same time, it's better for someone to do that than to act on like have the urges and act on it. So I
Very
mean,
true.
props to Hank for knowing that he has a problem and he's owning up to it and trying to fix it.
And it was good that he told the girl to Google him. One of y'all said it, but because he's not. I mean, let's say he did start to date this girl or to date someone and they had no idea who he was, and then they find out, it's going to be a lot worse. So he seems like he's trying to be really upfront with everything despite him actually not having any involvement, which I guess why would you not be? Oh,
yeah,
okay.
for
Sorry,
real, too, I have to say, like, Hank, I mean, good for Hank this episode. I thought he did things pretty well. He was honest with the girl.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't do that. If they had a record, I'm sure some people would try to, like, sneak around that and hope that the person never found out.
Well, they would probably just try to, like, hit it and quit it, but he can't do that, so.
I'm just happy that it all, like, now it makes sense why she came over, why they introduced that part, because it was so random before. Like, well, okay, Hank is getting his own love story, like, what's happening now?
Yeah,
so
but it made sense.
They're able to correlate it back at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Exactly. Kind of another weird but very answer-filled portion was Willa's portion. We see a completely different side of her tonight, and that's another prediction we got right. We have all been like,
knew
she
Willa
is
was in on it.
sketchy as all get out, and now we know why.
We definitely knew. We called that.
Also, we know, so it kind of starts off her scene, she's with Bridie, they meet at like some park or something like that, and Bridie's asked her to meet her there because she is going to show her these paternity results that say that Adam is not Adam. Well, Willa, of course, little mastermind that she is, says, oh, you have this information? Well, my mom cheated on my dad, and he's not actually my dad's son, but he's still my brother.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we all knew immediately. We're like, oh, this is a lie. But Bridie seemed to she seemed like she believed it anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it was very well crafted. So.
Yeah.
Another thing with that, though, is Willa for a second, because I've always thought that Willa had something to do with it.
Yeah.
But for a second, after she reacted, I kind of thought by how emotional she was that maybe she just didn't know. Obviously, we find out that she did.
Yeah.
But for a second, I'm like, okay, maybe she's surprised.
I wasn't sure. I was wondering kind of the same thing, but I'm like, oh, maybe she's like, what are we going to do now if this is going to come out? But she was so emotional and so overwrought that I'm like, there's got to be something more, because we see her, she goes into the office and she literally sits underneath her desk the entire day. I mean, like, people come in or people try to come in and they just flash to her sitting underneath the desk.
It seemed almost as though everyone knew that this is something she does. Didn't it seem that way to you? Like, whenever she was having some sort of thing, she went under the desk. It seemed like her comfort zone or her safe space.
Danny seemed to know that's what's happening. Can we just talk about Danny when he comes and kind of rescues her? I literally wrote down on my notebook, I love Danny. And Danny, my heart goes out for you. Oh, so cute.
And he's a good-looking guy, too.
Oh, yeah. Let's just throw that in there.
He's some good eye candy.
He's really good. But I think that the best line was that, like, she was saying how she can't do this anymore. She can't keep the family together anymore. And he looked at her, he goes, no one asked you to.
Right.
Like,
I love
the past
that.
10 years of your life, you've been trying to, make everything okay between your parents, and I think it's maybe just the guilt that it's her fault.
Yeah.
Her fault that Adam actually left. So maybe it's just her trying to pick up the pieces in that sense, because it's guilt that's just been driving her this whole time.
But it's not even just her fault. It's also Danny's fault. Technically, he left her. I mean, so...
To make out with Bridie.
Exactly. So, but then...
Bridie's in the middle of everything.
Okay, but that's another thing we learned. Bridie and Willa for sure hooked up before. I thought that I think it was like 2 episodes ago where they show Bridie and Willa hooking up. I thought that it was like a dream or something like that Willa was having.
No, I think it was.
Well, I think it may have been a dream.
Oh.
I'm not sure. I was confused about that too, but the only reason I think that it was her first time is because right before they started,
she's like, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah.
Oh. She said some things that made it sound like they had hooked up before, like
in her mind.
I think she just was. Yeah, I think the first time when we see her praying and she has that vision, I think that's just her like fantasizing about it.
Okay,
and then this time is, I think, the first time she acted on what she felt.
Nothing like the first time.
She had 2 shots and she was done.
She was drunk. She's
but
like,
her and Danny at the bar, he was just like being the best big brother and like making her laugh.
I wrote that down.
Alcohol's been around longer than Jesus, and I was just like, you're funny.
Because you had never seen Willa and Danny interact like that. They always kind of had animosity because Willa was always coming down on him for drinking. So I thought it was good to see like a good sibling relationship and
I put that
some
in my
nice
notes.
moments for them.
Yeah, I put like bonding time in my notes because it was a different side of him and a different side of her.
Really
and it was nice to see like him kind of taking care of her. And another kind of important thing, which may just prove that Danny's been the smartest one in this family the whole time, because while Willa's underneath the desk, she's having flashbacks of Danny being like, this isn't him, or all the stuff that he had said over the past 6 episodes now, I guess. And that's all she could think about was like, oh, people are starting to notice, or Danny's, the first one to know anything. But I guess because, of course, Claire and John are just they have their son, they're just going to take it for what it is, whereas sibling is kind of more... they're going to look into it a little more or wonder a little more, I guess.
Well, when she was having those flashbacks, I thought it was because she was like hitting herself in the head, like sort of like, oh my God, I didn't listen to him. I should have listened when he was saying that.
That's what I thought too.
I'm so embarrassed that Danny's going to be right and I'm wrong, blah, blah, blah. And then she was just under there a little too long. And it's like, honey, like they're doing a whole police thing and stuff. Like you should go in and be like, hey, this isn't my brother. Like
those flashbacks is what kind of made me question, okay, wait, maybe she's just surprised by this information and now she's second guessing everything. Obviously that wasn't the case, but they kind of made you think that for a little bit.
I felt the same way too. And clearly we know that's not what happened, obviously. But she goes to visit Bridie after her and Danny have this night out of drinking and having fun. And she asks Bridie if she's going to put the paternity test results out. And Bridie says she doesn't know. Then they hook up. And...
what do you guys think of...
But then she drove home after. I was like, why are you driving home?
What do you guys think of Bridie's intentions? Do you think she's really into Willa, or do you think there's ulterior motives? I can't tell.
I don't know with Bridie.
I don't either.
I mean, but she did look genuine when she was saying she didn't know whether or not she was going to post the story and all that. But it's also
But she said, do you want me to make you feel good or tell you the truth?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So to me, it seems as though she's going to do something with the information. I don't know what, but I just can't tell if her and Willa are they going to start some sort of relationship?
I mean, it's so awkward. Like, it's weird enough if you date, like, two best friends. Like, brother, sister. That's like, I don't know.
Keeping it in the family.
Yeah, I guess literally.
I actually didn't even mean to do that. There you go. Who even knows? I think we'll see more about that.
Yeah, I think that's not the end of Bridie and Willa. Yeah, that's for sure.
Well, this definitely isn't the end of Willa in this episode, but it kind of all ties together with the like real meaty part of the episode, which is all about Adam and creepy man Doug and Claire. So the very beginning of the episode starts off with Doug, let's call him, since technically it's really hard for me to say Doug instead of creepy man.
Creepy Doug.
Yes, creepy Doug is playing with his dog outside, and we see him, or he has this, I wrote down the medicine because I was like, ooh, I think I can say that. Trichloromethane.
I wish I would have wrote down the drug. I'm glad you did.
I have no idea. I'm probably saying it very wrong, but it feels like it's right. So he has the drug that like you see in all the movies where they put it on a little napkin and put it over someone's face, and he is doing this to his dog, and I guess he had been doing it to multiple other dogs because he's testing the medication to see how it'll work. So the dog, I think, weighed like 76 pounds, probably the same amount as like an 8-year-old boy, something like that.
Yeah. Well, in the beginning when he did that, I thought he was killing the dog.
Same, I did too.
I was like, oh, is he practicing murdering animals with this thing? And then when the dog woke up, I was like, oh, okay, all right. He's just gonna work on kidnapping skills, not murder skills.
On that dog, that poor dog.
That's what we're practicing today.
I thought the same thing at first. I'm like, oh, they are not about to go here, like killing the beautiful black lab, but then
the opening scene. I know. Come on.
But he's been like writing down how long the dogs stay out, or based on how many like drops he gives them and everything. And now we know that that's the medication that he did indeed use on Adam, which we find that's another huge thing we found out tonight. Because we've been wondering all season, like, what is his involvement? We know he has to be involved somehow, but now we know like he is for sure the man.
I was so wrong. I can't believe it was actually him.
I thought you said that it was him.
No, I did not think Doug was the one who actually kidnapped him. I thought Doug was like in on it with Claire or something.
Conspiracy.
Because to me, I thought it was, with the show, I thought that would be way too easy for him to actually be the one who kidnapped him.
Right.
But it was.
Yeah.
I was so wrong.
Creepy man was indeed creepy.
I'm still thinking that in his bunker there's like all these like TVs and technology, and he's trying to win her the election. But
right.
Maybe I'm wrong now.
I don't know. Maybe there's another secret bunker somewhere. Who knows?
I want to find all that technology in a bunker somewhere.
What a sicko is right. Someone said, what a sicko. Doug is a sicko.
Yeah,
a creepy sicko.
Oh, yes. So the beginning of the episode with them is they're all discussing how to use Adam as bait because they want to catch this guy. Adam even says multiple. Adam, should we call him Adam or should we call him Ben? We'll call him Adam.
Adam for now, because right now he's still Adam technically.
For now. But he says that he doesn't just want them to catch the guy. He wants them to kill him. Mm-hmm. And so they set up this whole scenario of he had this like plaid shirt that apparently the man liked him to wear. So on the news, or because there are always these reporters outside of his house, they walk out the next day. And of course, Claire is very just stressed about this, which, I mean, of course, it's her son, but he's like fully on board. He says he wants this to be over with and he can't do anything until this man is gone. So they kind of set it up where he says, a reporter's like, what did you miss most? And he's like, oh, Bill's Burgers and movies and that kind of stuff. And he says that he's going to go to Bill's Burgers tomorrow, or maybe he'll have one tomorrow. So he's hoping that the man is watching the news, which we see in like another scene that he's there with his wife Jane, or is she his wife at this point?
We're
I
assuming.
don't know, something.
Wife, girl. We'll call her
They're
his
very
wife
involved
right now.
Yeah.
Yes. And they have the news on, which is so like, I mean,
Yeah.
Thankfully, they had the news on.
But he seemed very uninterested, though.
Well, that was the thing. It's like, if your wife has no idea, she has no idea. Clearly she's clueless.
She is very
she's
clueless.
Just, okay. But, if the news is on, why did he have to turn it off immediately? Like, wouldn't he want to, like, actually just hear a little bit more, even if it wasn't going to raise a red flag for her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he turned it off before he was even done talking. But I guess he heard the evidence he needed to hear, or the note he needed to hear.
But I agree. I would think that he would want to watch it a little longer.
Yeah.
Because she's not going to know if he turns around and is very interested in something. I mean, he's building stuff in their shed in the middle of the night, and she walks out and doesn't think anything is weird about it.
No.
Yeah. Which I guess he has a good excuse. He's building something for the baby, but no, it's actually not something for the baby. It's something that he's probably going to kidnap another child in.
It's so terrifying.
But so they set this whole thing up. Adam says that he liked him in red, so he wears a red shirt.
That's weird too.
And Danny is the person who's chosen to be the bait.
That was how great was that when they were all talking and then Danny walks in and he's like, they all look at him and he's like, what? I'm like, oh gosh, come get Danny involved.
He's the only
one. He is.
He's the only one that no one would really know. Or like, obviously Claire's not going to sit there. John can't. I don't know. Will is under the desk.
Will is under the desk. Will's useless.
Yeah,
Will is useless.
It's got to be Danny.
But it's just, it was funny when he was like he was making fun of like, in a stressful situation, he's sitting there like joking and trying to make sure Adam's like kind of, okay, having fun.
Yeah.
He's like, look at that 80-year-old over there. Like, as he's like chewing on the hamburger. I was like, you're not a little nervous or paranoid that you're going to meet your brother's capturer right now? Like,
exactly. But I like that he, even with his doubts, he was still like, he's being supportive of the person that he thinks is his brother, even though he doesn't necessarily think he is at this point still. But he was being nice and supportive, because he's great, of course.
See, right now, I think that Danny's on the track of actually thinking that it's him.
Well, remember, I think he's going back
I think he
to it.
thinks it's him now, which is sad because he's about to be in for a rude awakening.
But he still has his doubts, I feel like. But yes, well, I'm sure he's about to find out that it's not actually him. But Adam the whole time is like sweating profusely, which we kept asking each other during the show. We're like, why is he sweating so bad?
Such a good actor if he's like pretending to be Adam, like, wow, you're getting real into that.
Like, he's so good. But I'm like, he's really sweating.
Like,
it's like
really
dripping
sweating.
and everything.
Yeah.
But so Adam tells Danny to leave because he says he won't like show his face. If you're here with me, he'll know that something's up, or he won't come if someone's here, obviously. So Danny agrees to leave, and Claire is having a conniption in the FBI thing, even though they have federal agents everywhere. But apparently, like, the dumbest federal agents maybe ever, because they didn't get the man. Like, you shut all doors.
Like, no one leaves.
This huge of a case, you shut the doors. Someone in that mall, clearly him.
Yeah.
But so we see. Prediction?
No.
Oh, that was so sly.
It's not a prediction, but they had a picture of this guy.
But that wasn't him. Remember, like, the man
No, remember
that
they
were
had
like...
a picture of the guy in front of... They had a picture of Doug in front of that van.
Oh, yeah, they did.
And Adam reacted. So why wouldn't they just look for that guy?
No, but that wasn't him.
It was
a different man that kind of looked a lot like him.
Is that what it was?
No,
Yeah.
no, I swear it was actually a picture of Doug.
I don't know. What do you guys remember?
Yeah.
Does anyone remember?
No,
Anyone
because
remember?
They
Please.
found that man, and they knew that man wasn't him.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I forget.
Yes.
There's so much crazy stuff that's
There
happened.
I'm gonna...
They
That's gonna bother me.
they knew that it wasn't him, but he looked a lot like Doug.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why did
my whole thing is after when they're like, yeah, we have hours of security footage to go through and look at. I was like, why? You go to the security camera that's in the where all the food court.
Exactly.
You go to the second floor.
And the time that you were
look
there.
at the time. You look at a minute worth, and there he is.
You look at the
they had to
place
make
where
it
Adam's
dramatic.
literally like this.
Yeah.
He's staring at him. You have one place
and then
to
you
look.
follow that camera and see where that man goes.
I
and then you're
honestly
done.
didn't even think about that, but that is pretty funny because they could have just like
One more
timestamped
time,
it.
we should be the agents
Those
in
have,
this
to be,
situation.
those have to be time marked, right?
It's all time mark. Yeah.
But the thing that was I was like, okay, so the man walks out. I thought I was surprised that he did that. Now, clearly we knew he's not just going to walk up, and even though he did kidnap him whenever he was a kid, but he was a kid back then in a public place. I was like, there's no way he's just gonna like walk up to him, but he does like clearly walk over the ledge and Adam sees him and just stares at him.
Yeah.
So Nina notices that Adam's staring at something, and so they immediately like rush in. So that's the part that I was kind of like,
Why
I
would you
wish
rush
he would
in?
do it some way, like someone sneak up at the place that he's looking at
And look up.
because they said they had like hidden agents everywhere. So I feel like there should have been someone over there, but because clearly as soon as he sees Nina and whoever else, which I know they wanted to like make sure Adam was okay, but as soon as Doug sees them run in, he's gonna know that something's up,
walk
and
away.
he's gonna walk away. And he's a smart person, obviously, so he's gonna take off the blue jacket that Adam saw him wearing.
To me, I thought the plan was kind of dumb.
Yeah.
One, and then also, to me, I thought it was for Doug being as smart as he has been with everything so far. Would he really show up like that? That's I was surprised.
I'm surprised he even took kids, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like killers, like kidnappers and people like that.
Yeah.
In all these, not that I'm an expert kidnapper or anything.
We can try to be.
But in all the shows, like they always say that people like they do things in plain sight, or like they like to keep a trophy or something like that.
Yeah.
So at this point, they're thinking like this is the kid who he kept for so long. He just got away from him, and I mean, I wasn't surprised that he showed up because I'm sure he was like, oh, I can figure something out.
I was
some
really
way.
surprised.
Yeah.
It just like all worked out obviously besides catching him.
Right.
The plan
It worked out well,
The
except
most
for
important
that.
part.
besides that. But you know what I mean? It just worked out so well. Like he saw the news, he showed up where he was. I don't know.
I think like what I wish they had done if I was in charge of the FBI. I would have had, okay, Adam, you're going to sit at this table, and we're going to have officers at the tables next to you, dressed in civilian clothing.
Right.
And you're looking up at someone, and I'm going to hit my ear and be like, all right, second floor, blue coat, move in, done.
Yeah, for having agents
we be
FBI,
You know what I mean?
that's so true. Because for having agents everywhere, the fact that no one was sitting like with the same eyesight as Adam,
and it seems like they would have
did not think about that.
It seems like as soon as Nina and the other guy rush in, and as you see this man that's been standing there, he
was staring.
Soon, walks off. You're like, oh, that's him.
That's him.
The man that's been doing this, and then
the
it's like,
entire
oh,
time.
crap.
Yeah, right.
Takes off his jacket.
You know what's weird is that you know how like on side note on Facebook you can be like, what job should you have, or you take those random quizzes.
We should be agents.
Mine was FBI agent. I swear to God, I'm not kidding you. It said FBI agent, and I was like, done.
You got all.
I'm leaving this
You
town.
have all the answers. Are you an FBI agent?
How
You
weird
could
is
be
that?
an FBI agent.
Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, but
right,
yeah, that's what I would have
you know.
done. That would have been my plan.
Well,
in another life.
That would have been a very good plan.
Yeah.
Probably a better plan than it seems like they
But
had.
not a good story for TV. So
Exactly.
real life.
They got to make it interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so he walks into a baby store where Jane is picking out clothes, and cops are running around everywhere. All these cops that I guess were in the wrong place, and he tells her that it's a bomb threat or something like that. And this is where it still comes in. Like I don't see how they ever even got to leave the place, but apparently they did.
Well, I think the big thing was that he had his arm around her like that,
Right.
so it looked like he's not a creepy guy on his own. He's like with his pregnant wife.
Well,
like,
someone
it was
actually
covering his
said
face.
too, do you think Doug really has feelings for his wife, or is she a cover? Because I mean that kind of makes sense in this episode because no one's gonna suspect the guy walking around with his pregnant wife.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe a cover. I mean, everything is that he's doing. He's a brilliant guy. He really is. Like, if he put that mind towards other things, he could have gone somewhere.
He could have done really great things
so many
for the world.
Why didn't you do that?
So much potential.
So he ends up leaving with Jane. Meanwhile, Adam is still just like schwitzing at the table. That's the only way I can think of to
like
describe it. He's like schwitzing. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But they take him to the hospital because he says he doesn't feel right, and turns out he has like some kind of obstruction. Because from some scar tissue, it's an infection, so they're gonna have to operate. I'm like, oh dear God, like he slipped him something somehow, and Doug slipped him something somehow, and he's gonna like take him from recovery or from the OR.
Yeah, laser beam something into his
something's gonna happen. And Claire was freaking out, and they have a cute little moment, she and Adam do, where he says like, I'm gonna come back. And she has this little like monkey thing that he had when he was little, and that's part of what we see in a flashback later in the episode. She is like going crazy in his room looking for this little sock monkey because she couldn't find it. She thought the detectives took it, but she tells him in the hospital, she's like, this is what you always needed to feel better. So he's like, I don't remember this because I'm not him.
I'm not Adam.
Exactly. Yeah. But it was a successful surgery, and this is before the surgery happened, I think.
Yeah, that was before the surgery.
He was delivered some flowers that say, and I guess they just didn't look at him right then, but they say, to Ben, feel better. Yeah. And
who sent those?
We're immediately.
I think it's Doug.
But
it's gotta be Doug,
right?
I
mean, Doug saw him like freaking out like that, but
why would he just do it now? He's been seeing the news that it's not actually Adam, and he knows that. So why does he now want him to get? Oh, maybe he wants him to get caught now because he saw FBI agents and all that stuff.
Maybe so.
I don't know. It was just it's who else would have done that? I don't know. Who's outing him? Maybe
someone else.
Adam. Maybe Adam's outing Adam.
We thought that at the same time. I was like,
gosh.
It might be.
But why? Why wouldn't Adam just come home? I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, predictions are later. Okay.
Yeah. Claire sends the flowers away and says these must be for the wrong patient. It says feel better Ben or whatever it did. But after the surgery, no, how did she? Okay,
the X-rays.
I'm skipping. Oh, okay.
The doctor comes out.
I'm like, how did she find out again? So the doctor comes out and tells her that everything was great, and he says it was this little perforation or whatever it was right above his appendix, and she's like.
Right when I heard appendix, I'm like, this is how she's gonna know because I knew people get their appendix out.
Yeah.
Real Adam doesn't have an appendix. I called that right.
You did.
Right when he walked out, I was like, that's so.
I was like, did I miss him getting his appendix?
Yeah.
I know.
Did I miss that surgery?
But so the doctor's like, it's right above his appendix, and Claire's like, no, my son had his appendix out when he was 5, and the freaking doctor is like, oh well, I call my son by my dog's name all the time. Like maybe you're just forgetting which kid it is.
I was like, come on.
No, you're not forgetting that many kids. Kid it is.
Yeah, it's not that hard to remember that.
I thought that was an awesome way of them to reveal to her that it wasn't
I thought
Adam.
that was awesome.
Because I thought that I'm like, how is she ever going to really believe that it's not him? I mean, she could think that, I don't know, there are a million different reasons why she couldn't.
She would think that Bridie, like it wasn't the real paternity test.
Exactly.
Or, that she was making it up, or, someone else's DNA.
Yeah.
And she's not going to go and retest him because she already believes it's her son. So, yeah, you're right. It was the perfect way to do it.
Yeah, and when I saw her reaction, my thoughts of her being involved went out the window, for real.
Oh, yeah.
Her reaction was so genuine. Yeah. And when she said his name, like, her face, that was crazy.
Yeah.
We were all waiting. She was like, Adam. We were all like, Ben.
And then he...
But I wonder if I guess he probably didn't hear her say that. Well, obviously he did.
He was
but
like
not
half asleep.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
You can only train yourself so much to be another human.
And it was weird.
Exactly.
Like, hi, Mom. I don't know. It was weird.
So for a second, I was thinking, I'm like, maybe that's just the name that the man called him whenever he was in the bunker, which still could be possible.
Yeah.
But clearly he's been going by this name for a very long time, or it is his real name. And there he goes. He wakes up, and she's freaking out. She did an amazing job tonight. Claire did. With her stressing.
Oh yeah. I mean, it was. I think the reason why we probably liked it was because it wasn't her stressing because we thought that like she has like something to do with something. Yeah, right. Being a human now. Exactly. Now I feel like she's a human. She's not like fake and like all this shady stuff and bunkers with TVs happening.
Exactly.
Joan Allen's killing it.
Oh yeah, she's killing it.
So good.
And everyone on the show is.
Yeah. When she's sitting there when Willa comes home and she's just in the dark, just sitting there, it was like. Bam! Like, oh my god!
Even though, we saw that in the preview last week of her saying, "What did you do?" I guess I forgot it, but I was like,
I forgot about that too.
This is about to happen right now. But she immediately calls Willa out and says, "What did you do?" Or what? I mean, what else did she say?
No, she said, "She said, who is he?
Who is he?"
And so we talked to this. We all thought that we thought you were talking about who she just hook up with because she's coming home, probably a little tipsy still, like sex hair. Who is he? And I thought she was gonna lie or be like, Jordan. But I don't know what she was gonna say.
I'm like, is it that big of a deal? You have to sit at home in the dark and find out who your grown daughter's hooking up with?
But I couldn't buy it though because Will doesn't do that stuff. I feel like,
But no, that's not what she was asking. No. And Willa just kind of starts to immediately break down. And she's like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Admitting herself to guilt. Yeah. So now we know Willa is behind
I love that Claire knew that Willa was behind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like,
she's like, how else would this happen?
Exactly.
How else could this get pulled off? Oh, my sneaky little daughter.
Right. Danny's clearly not going to do it. And she knows that even though Willa is, however, she tries to present herself as a very, righteous, good-doing person, which of course she is in some ways. But Claire being her mom, she still is going to know, okay, this child is conniving, this child is not. This child is going to do this. I mean, because
this child's conniving, this one's cute,
right? Because she knows that, she didn't do it. Obviously, she knows that John would never do that.
Yeah.
So I mean. Of course, it's Willa. I mean, it could have been a lot of other people, but she knows her daughter, and she knows that she's going to come up with that kind of scheme, I guess.
Yeah, and I feel like the whole church thing is just still, I don't know if it's an act, but I just feel like it's her just having so much guilt still that she feels like she has to be this righteous person. But your actions don't ever match with what you think you need to do. So
exactly. And she goes to confession at one point, and she tells the priest,
I love
priest, yeah?
Yeah, I love that line that she said while she was in there.
What did she say again?
She's like, I told a lie to fix a lie.
Right. But I was thinking that she was talking about, and she may have been, but I was thinking that she talked about the lie that she told Bridie. The lie like, oh, he's not my dad's son, but he is my brother. So she told that lie to fix the lie of the paternity test. That's what I thought, but now I think she's talking about she told a very big lie.
Yeah.
To fix the whatever.
Kind of
to fix her family.
Kind of a big lie.
Yeah. And kind of two little random parts. We didn't see too much of John tonight, but there was a scene with him and Nina where John was looking at these hours of tapes from the mall. And they're just kind of talking about, or she tells him blue jacket, male, whatever she says to him. And then she says, and I thought this was a random line at this time only because it's not like they were in some steamy kind of scene, but she says, don't wait, choose your wife, or choose her, choose your life. And I'm like, I thought we were kind of over this at this point, but not necessarily.
Wait, can we please talk about... I'll return him. You always do.
Oh, yeah. I was like,
dang, Claire.
Claire, she's trying to
the mic drop.
That was so great. That was so great.
I love Claire now. Can we share that I kind of really love Claire now?
I'm super into Claire this episode.
But I still kind of like John and Nina, even though it's the most wrong thing, of course. But I'm
they're cute together.
I feel like they're actually in love.
And did you guys get the sense when it was Claire, John, and Nina, Claire and John had this hug? Did you guys get that sense that Nina looked a little upset?
Oh yeah, she did. Yeah, she was visibly upset.
Didn't we talk about this? I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but we were talking about how we were kind of, after Claire and John reconnected, we were curious to see how Nina reacts if they have a big reconciliation.
Right.
And I think we just saw it a little. I think Nina
a little bit.
Upset.
Yeah, a little bit, but I just also think that it's still John's not over her and she's not.
I definitely don't think that.
But I think Claire is just so witty. Claire's just all right, Claire, cool. I'm so weird how now I like her now that I know she's not shady. I think she's hilarious.
Yeah, now knowing that she's not in on it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
we say that now.
We say that now, but Yeah, I really liked her this episode a lot.
Go Claire. Go Claire.
Okay, what else? Did we miss anything before we get into predictions?
Let's see.
I want to look
I'm like
back.
trying to scan really fast.
I love Danny note. That's great. And I think
I love Danny too.
Oh, wait.
There we go. Cute.
We forgot probably one of the most important scenes of the show. We forgot, or I forgot anyway.
What scene?
The very last scene where Adam sees the flowers.
Oh, not that.
Yeah.
Not even that. We forgot about the scene where it shows Doug carrying Adam in when there's another boy in the freaking bunker.
Okay, so Doug.
We're doing great. We're on point, guys.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh my
so
gosh.
2 more things we need to discuss.
We're getting way too into Claire.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, Claire took over.
We have the flashback. Oh, and the park scene.
Yeah.
There are a lot of really good flashbacks.
And it all focused on Doug.
And one of the first ones we see is where Claire, they find out that they realize that Adam's been missing for an hour, and they're running around searching for him. But before that, Claire hands a flyer to Doug, who has Adam in the back of his truck, like in a little box, I presume.
Oh my God!
And she talks to her son's captor, but we also see exactly what he does. He approaches Adam. Like he captures him, which I'm like, really, kid? Did your parents not tell you don't take candy from a stranger?
Yeah.
But Doug walks up to him while he's sitting on a swing and says, or like the dog runs up the ball or whatever, and he says, oh, I have a treat for him in my truck if you want to give him one. He's like, yeah.
It's not candy. Mom said no candy, but they're dog treats.
Right.
I'm so confused. I'm still very confused to how he managed to do that because it was so out in the open.
But I mean, it was a busy day, and Willa should have been watching.
Yeah, but he had to stuff this kid in a little trunk. It's not like he had a big kidnapping van and
he was probably in an alley or something.
Yeah. To me, I just still can't believe it was just broad daylight.
He probably put him in his truck or made him pass out with the stuff and then put him in his truck and then drove somewhere else.
Okay,
and stuffed him in the box.
Yeah, but that's why he needed a certain 2-3 hours because he had to have his alibi of dinner. So he's eating dinner while Adam's just passed out in the box.
And they're searching for him everywhere, freaking out while he's just chilling.
Psychotic.
So crazy.
Just hanging out.
Absolutely psychotic. But,
so
that happened.
We see him take him Doug takes Adam into the bunker, and all of a sudden, a little voice, who is that? And there's Ben / Adam. And he says, oh, it's a friend. So
it's a friend for you, basically.
Adam was not down there alone. He was with today's Adam.
You know what's crazy is someone had actually commented, I don't know what episode, saying that he thought it was I forget if it was a girl or a guy.
I remember that. Yeah,
they said that they thought that Ben and this person, Adam and this person were
in the bunker together. Yeah.
So they were right.
One of the viewers commented and had that prediction. So congrats whoever said that.
You're right.
It's great.
Sweet.
But that's just it's great. And I love the VO over it as Adam is talking and saying that people are always lonely and you see Willa in her car just being Willa lonely. Right. And then it's but I wasn't. I had my buddy.
So where is Adam?
I don't know.
But today Adam / Ben sees the flowers at the end, so he knows that oh freak, something's about to happen.
Yeah.
But do you think Willa's gonna tell him hey, gig's up, or we can get into predictions?
Yeah. Let's talk about some predictions.
Okay.
I don't know.
And now your AfterBuzz
Can I not go first?
There's so many.
I need to think. I need to think.
Okay, all right, I'll talk. So predictions. One is, I don't know, do you guys think Adam is alive, or you guys think Adam is dead? Do you think that...
I just don't understand so much. How did Willa find out who this was? How did... I don't know.
We're going to see flashbacks. They're in the previews, it shows flashbacks of them setting this whole plan up.
Yeah.
I predict maybe that they're trying to escape, and maybe Adam got killed or shot, and then he survived, and then he just knows where to find the family because they're all over TV. Right. And he knows that was his family, her family. But where's his family? Right. Why isn't he with his homies?
What question?
Someone mentioned this. What if this Ben? I think I said this too. But what if Ben is actually Doug's son or something?
I don't know. I don't.
Why would he have kept him in a bunker?
Yeah.
I'm just so confused.
I don't know. I'm just curious. I want to know if Danny is going to find out. Yeah. And when he finds out,
he's going to flip.
The storm that's going to arise from that, And I think this is going to be a true testament to Claire's personality. We're going to really see if I really, really do like her or not with how she handles this. If she's going to keep this kid in the house, which it looks like she does for a little bit, just to save her campaign. Or, like, what is she actually going to do, you know?
Well, see, that's what I was going to say earlier, but I was like, ooh, let me remember that for predictions. Because I think that Willa did all of this, like, got this kid somehow. I have no idea how she got him or how she even found him, but I think she did it so that Claire could win the governor election.
Yeah.
I'm like, save that big of a move for president.
That's a
governor? Are you kidding me?
Claire's struggling. Clearly she couldn't do it on her own.
But so I think that's why Willa did it, but that's why I was thinking, like, is Claire going to keep him there? That's when we'll know, like, okay, is she legit? Do we actually like her?
Yeah.
I have a feeling, my prediction is that she will keep him there.
Okay.
At least for a little bit.
Yeah.
I think so too. And then, I mean, I guess I don't really have a prediction because my mind's everywhere. I think that I'm thinking the real Adam is dead.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah, I think he's dead.
But I guess more, not a prediction, but I'm thinking Hank still has more to do with everything. I don't know how, though.
You don't think it's just he's there for revenge anymore?
I don't think. Obviously, Doug kidnapped them, but for some reason, deep in my gut, I feel someone else is involved in the whole thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it could just be Willa, and then I don't think it was just the Doug guy. If that makes sense, I just feel like there's more to it. I just feel like there's so much that we're gonna learn.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're gonna learn.
And I feel like there's definitely gonna be other big shocks too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because tonight was very shocking and so good, and I don't think that's the end of that. I think it's just going to keep getting better.
Yeah, the past two episodes, they've ended on just like,
I know.
What?
It kills me.
Like, I
need next week already.
And we only have 6 episodes left.
I just want to binge watch 6 hours of it. Like, we can all just like bring like sleepover stuff. And just
we need to do it. Let's do it.
Right here in studio.
Well, thank y'all so much for joining us. Obviously, we can't wait until next week. As always, you can find me at April Whisenhant on Twitter and Instagram. Where can they find y'all?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Abby Vega.
And you can find me at Nadine DP and the number 3.
You can find us all at AfterBuzz TV. Thank you so much for watching with us. Don't forget to comment so we can shout you out on next week's episode. See you then. Woo-hoo!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.